up, everybody? This is Kalen from Producer Dudes. I don't know if I'm going to use this for anything, but I'm documenting it just in case I do. I love nerding out on guitar stuff, and it's a lot of fun for me. So, you know, maybe my experience will help somebody else out, and if they're looking at switching things up or whatever. But what I got right now is I got my Fender. It's a Redwood Tele. It's like the limited edition Hot Rod 50s Tele. Right now the guitar is completely stock. I obviously had the strings off of it because I'm about to do something to it. And I wanted to kind of have a before look at it. It has the standard 52 reissue neck on it, which is a D shape. But it is a compound radius as well on the fretboard, so I think it goes from like 9.5 to 12 or something like that. I can't remember the exact specs, but essentially it's a more rounded radius down here, and it does flatten as you go up the fretboard, which is cool. But I'm at a point to where I'm going to swap this bad boy out for a couple of reasons. The neck actually feels good. It's not necessarily that it's too thick or I don't like how it plays. There's just a couple things that, you know, when I got this guitar, I got it because I loved the look. I love the vibe of it. I love the wood grain. The fact that it's redwood. It's super light. I got this at Guitar Center when I worked there a few years back. It was new on the wall, and it was at a different location. There's only a few of these left in the chain because it was like the Fender 10 for 15 run that they did in 2015. I think 350, and I think there was 4 left in our chain at that point. So I called several stores and kind of got the story on each one. And the one I called that had this one, they're like, yeah, it has some kind of floor wear on it just because it's been in our store for like a year and a half. And so it's had some love on it. It's not perfect condition, but it's a player. It sounds phenomenal. It's super light. He's like, it's like the lightest Tele I've ever played. And so he kind of sold me on it. So I had it transferred in. I put it on layaway, paid it off over a few months. And it's one of my favorite sounding guitars. You know, the custom shop pickup sounds great. It does feedback super easy. I don't necessarily want to switch the pickup out because I do like how it sounds, the bridge anyway. Next, okay, Fender wide range. It does what it does. So we'll see about that. But onto the neck. I want to swap out the neck for a few reasons. One, it's 21 frets. I like, because it is a 52 reissue, you know, they kind of kept it more traditional, which makes sense. But for me personally, I like 22 frets. And it's not all the time that I'm playing at 22nd fret, but there's a few licks that I like to play that do require it. And so it's kind of one of those things, I'm missing it when I go up there. And I just wish it was there. So it's one of those things. And also, reason number 2, the truss rod adjustment is in the neck pocket. Again, because it's a 52 reissue. You have to take off the neck if you need to adjust the neck. And the third and biggest, honest main reason that pushed me over the edge is it's kind of doing that thing. And I don't know what the reason was for it. I've always taken care of this guitar. But sometimes a neck will go a little crazy and go rogue on you. It's doing that thing to where it kind of gets up to the 12th fret and like it bows naturally. And then it gets up to the 12th fret and flattens out. That's a thing on Fenders apparently. And so above the 12th fret, it's like I can get the action reasonably good. But then when it's 12th fret, it starts to fret out and kind of have that plucky overtone that I don't really want. Or kind of fret out at some points. Not super bad. Also, it's kind of limits me on the type of gauge strings I can throw on here. I do like using this guitar in my band Words, which we play live in drop C. I want a neck that definitely favors that more. Like I want the one that's going to perform more in that world and do a better job. This is a very traditional neck. It's an awesome neck, but it's not necessarily made to do the job that I want it to do. What I did is I bought a new neck, and we're going to try to throw it on this guy and see how she does. So I thought I'd document the process of this with you guys, put it out as a video, and share my thoughts on it. Maybe you're looking to do the same thing and it'll help you out. So I'll see you in a second. We'll unbox this thing. Okay, so I just received this neck in the mail. I ordered it off of reverb.com. Everything from the pictures that I could tell, everything looks super straight. It's like mint condition. You know, I got a good deal on it versus just buying one straight up new, brand new. So I got, you know, $150 off of it, and it is a American Professional neck, and it is maple. A couple of reasons why I feel like I like this one better than the one that's already on it. I've played several American Professionals. I really like the way the neck feels. It's, you know, a little bit more full feeling than the standard American Standard neck from, you know, a few years back. It's more of a modern C shape. This one's a more thicker, full C shape. A thicker neck works with my hands a little bit better. So that was my thought process here. So American Professional neck has 22 frets. Also, it is satin finish. Again, most of my guitars, except for my Starla, most gloss finishes are kind of sticky. This Tele neck, it's not bad, but you see the light kind of catches it. You know, definitely has that gloss on it. I kind of adapted to it, and it's fine. But again, it's one of those things when I'm practicing at home or recording, it doesn't really bother me as much. But when I'm playing live with it, that's whenever I kind of notice that thing. My hands get super sweaty, get a lot of moisture on there, and that really does. It's another thing that kind of gets in the way of me enjoying the experience and having fun. And I don't want that. You know, I want the least amount of things that are in my way for me to play the best that I possibly can. That's my goal. That's what I want to do. So I'm hoping this neck does that for me. So I'm gonna unbox this thing, and we'll hopefully it's every bit as good as it looked in the pictures, because you know how that game could go. I will say the tuners on that the 52 or the Hot Rod Tele are pretty cool. They're vintage style tuners, but they are locking. It's one of those where you feed it through, and as you tighten it up, it actually naturally clamps down on a string. So I think that is pretty cool. I kind of, like I said, I am a more modern guy, so I kind of like the look of the standard, you know, kind of more modern Tele tuners better than the vintage style. But they may function better because I think these are just the standard kind of American tuners. All right, check her out. Okay, that looks really cool. 2018 neck. Feels really good. Like as far as like just the finish on it, it's a night and day difference between these two. Now, try to get the you know, this one's a lighter tint, which I actually prefer. I know a lot of my preferences in accordance to a lot of Fender enthusiasts and purists are different, but I don't know. I like more modern, sleeker versions, but not over the top. I don't know. Like I want that kind of happy medium. That's why I like Ballet Gear guitars so much, because they kind of do a vintage retro vibe, but with modern appointments. Same type of thing. I like some vintage elements, but also a modern guitar. So that's kind of where I sit. And I think this neck is great. Man, the fretwork, I mean, it looks flawless, like as if it never been played. Feel interesting. Okay, this is a D shape. This is more definitely, yeah, you definitely feel that this is more rounded. Everything else except for the back of this being a little flatter, it doesn't feel a ton different. It's just a little bit more body to this guy. So that's cool. You know, it's not a super far deviation. I think I prefer this a little bit just because it is a little bit chunkier, but not too chunky. But again, it's not changing the overall look of the guitar drastically. And I prefer the slightly lighter maple versus like the aged maple look. I don't know. I just prefer that for some weird reason. I know a lot of people will disagree with me, but that's okay. We're all different. We're all human. We have our own preferences. I like this one. All right, let's throw it on a guitar and see how it does. All right, so there we have it. We have the neck on my guitar. Honestly, and strung it back up, same strings that were on there. I'm probably gonna change the string gauge and stuff. Hi, Max. What are you doing? Come here. You wanna say hi? You wanna say hi? Come on. Come here. Say hi. Look at the camera. Look. Look. He wants me to take him outside right now. Even though I just said the word outside and he looked at me. So I need to finish this up so I can be a good dog dad and take him outside. But anyway, I threw this on there and man, it feels so good. I just tuned it. I kind of pitched it by ear, just kind of got string tension kind of where it sounded about right. I don't have perfect pitch, so you got around drop C-ish, maybe B. It feels a little bit lower right now, but it just feels like it should. It just feels more rock solid. Like, I don't know, just something about the neck. It's one of those inherent things. Whenever you pick up a guitar you connect with, and it just feels right. That's how this feels so far. And I'm super happy because I was so nervous about that. That's another thing. It's like when you're getting a neck, especially whenever you're ordering one off Reverb, you're trusting a person that like, hey, this thing, hopefully this thing checks out. It totally does. And it's awesome. It feels great. I love a little subtle thing, the string tree on this. I love how it really keeps them on there really tight, really nicely. The other one kind of has this little kind of more vintage style one, like a little screw thing. Didn't really stand to that very well. Again, it's all things that I get because it's supposed to be more of a vintage reissue thing. And if you want it to be more vintage reissue-y in that world, you kind of lose some modern conveniences for it being historically more accurate. Although they definitely did not have compensated race or compound radius necks in back at that point in time. But I digress. And so yeah, truss rod adjustment down there. So super cool. I mean, it could not have been easier. I mean, I'll set it up further, but for literally just taking off a neck and throwing the same strings on the same guitar, it's way better than I intended. Like, I mean, it's totally playable as is right now. Like, it's tuned a little lower, so it's a little slinky. Like I said, I'll throw some thicker gauge strings on it. But man, it's a night and day difference for this guitar, and I could not be happier. So, and I'm gonna keep the original neck. I want to keep all the original components, and I might switch more things out. Might mess with the electronics on this thing. It's just kind of, I think this kind of got the ball rolling and a few things I want to switch out. I don't know. I love the brass saddles, but again, it's one of those things when you're in a heavy rock band and you do a lot of palm mutes or what have you, you rest your palm right there. It can kind of dig into your palm a little bit. It's not the most comfortable thing in the world. And also for intonation and lower tunings, having the 3-saddle bridge isn't as accurate. You can get it close, but having a 6-saddle, there's that whole world of people saying, brass saddles sound better than the standard, 6-saddle, chrome, whatever they're made out of, nickel, I don't know. A lot of people say they sound better, and I'm not saying they're wrong, but I'm not saying they're right either. So, I might switch this out if possible. I've heard some bridges aren't interchangeable, so I'll have to do some research and find one that would be good. I thought about if I can't remedy the feedback issue, I might switch out some electronics, but I'm definitely going to keep this bridge no matter what, because it does sound awesome. And if I don't find something that's comparable and doesn't sound quite as good, if there's something that you think would be cool to modify this or make it take it from kind of vintage to a more modern application Telecaster, if you have some suggestions on bridges, pickups, I know, was it Greg, I don't know his last name, Greg Koch, I can't remember how to pronounce it. I know he has like his Fishman Fluence, but those are super balls expensive. I don't know if I want to drop that much, but you know, any suggestions would be welcome. But so far, this was my first kind of taking a plunge upgrade into this guitar, and I'm super happy with the results so far. So we'll see where it takes us. Another thing is, I'm not a fan. I mean, this is a 4-way position switch. Man, this wide range humbucker, it's dark, man, so freaking dark. But I love the bridge. Neck, I can find some uses for it, but 9 times out of 10, I'm gonna stay at second position, which knows this and maybe like part of this pickup. I'm not 100% sure, but it's kind of in between position. It sounds pretty decent, but those are really only 2 that are usable. I would like to utilize. I'd rather have 3 usable positions than 4 positions, but I only use 2. If that makes sense. So, any suggestions up here or pickups or whatever in general that are or feedback remedies as well. I'm learning about this stuff as I go along, so I'm learning it with you. So if you have suggestions, if you've done this before, I would appreciate the help and feedback. So please like and subscribe to the channel. Thank you so much for watching. I know I was very long-winded and a lot of talking. Hopefully I edit a lot of this out. But you have a killer day. Have a good one. Bye.